the 20K in debt, we're in the hole. We end up getting the Arizona deal. And then about a month and a half after that, we're like, I don't even think we have our insurance policy set up for our Indianapolis house. The day we get the policy active, we have a fire at our Indianapolis house.
Oh, is this a good time for an intro? Can I do a little look at the camera like a Tarantino thing? Well, hey guys, we're sitting in here. We're just gonna have a little conversation, and I wanted this to be a little bit of a follow-up to the two-part documentary that I've been making following the rental arbitrage journey. We've got 2 parts on YouTube, but it hasn't been much in the way of updates over the past month, so I figured we would just sit down and have a conversation with 2 of my buddies, Jack Sisson and Michael Borton. They started City Vista Properties about a year and a half ago, and they're killing it. So how are you guys?
Excited to be here, man. Appreciate you having us on.
Super excited.
Absolutely. On this unnamed podcast. I'm like, do I look at the camera? Do I look at y'all? So I really wanted to just kind of get with y'all and like hear your story, because like I'm in the thick of it. I got a lot of crazy things and questions going on, but I just want to hear like who had this idea?
Yeah.
Who went down the YouTube channel rabbit hole at like 3 a.m. for 6 months and got the other on board? Like, tell me all about it.
Yeah. So me and Jack, we actually went to high school together. We went to college together as well. Got super close in college because we had such similar mindsets, and we just knew we wanted more from life, whatever that looked like.
Yeah.
So I mean, we'd always have conversations about what after college looked like, and we both had our jobs that we wanted to do.
Okay.
But we just knew there was something else, something greater for us.
Yeah.
So he comes from a real estate background. I'll let him get into that in a little bit.
Nice.
But I don't come from a real estate background. My real estate knowledge is through him and then through what we've learned doing this business.
Yeah.
And really, we're fascinated by short-term rentals, by Airbnb. It's just such a cool business model. How can you not, right? Mm-hmm. And he came across, I was at work one day, he called me, he's like, dude, what do you think about Airbnb arbitrage?
Bro.
And I'm like, dude, explain it to me. Because we know Airbnb, we're looking at ways to purchase, but we're so new to the business. We don't have a ton of capital. We just needed to jumpstart it somehow. And we look into Airbnb arbitrage. We start watching tons of video. I mean, overload on it. And fast forward to now, it's been awesome, man.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What was the the point of like looking into it to the pulling the trigger, and like what was that time span?
Yeah, well, I think it started, so obviously back in college, we were talking, it was literally a daily occurrence. You know, we're like, how do we get out of, the so-called matrix? How do we get out of just the cycle and create our own income? And it really started there. So when I was in college, I was actually working for my dad's company.
Okay.
My dad's a multifamily developer,
Nice.
And he also has a management company, so develops apartment communities.
Yeah.
And I was working for one of his apartment communities back in Knoxville.
Okay.
And I was so fed up with it, and I was thinking of other ways I could make income. So I actually partnered with my dad on a couple flips.
Okay.
So I started flipping houses a little bit, and then me and Michael would get on the phone. I'd be on the phone with him when I was living in Knoxville. He was back here, and I was like, what do you think about partnering with me on a flip? So we talked about that for months.
Okay.
And I was like, look, I'm moving back to Nashville soon. Let's figure out a way to do this.
Yeah.
So we talked about that, and then obviously that ended up organically turning into arbitrage.
Okay.
So it went from flips to arbitrage, and we just
Capital
talked.
needed was a little different.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
So I had saved up a little bit of money from doing some flips, and I was like, what a good time to start a business. So we went to Big Bad Breakfast, and we sat down weeks after week, and we just put a plan together, and we're like, we just got to make it happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all about just taking action, as you know.
Yeah.
I mean, you were pretty quick to it as soon as you.
It was essential at that
Yeah,
point.
for sure. I mean, everyone's got their reasons, but
For sure. What was I got a question though. So like college, that's something I've been like super hung up on recently. It sounds like y'all probably didn't need college. Like, what was that all about? What were you there for?
So I mean both of our
way to put it, like.
both of our parents probably pushed us a little bit to go to college. That's how it was for me anyways. And again, I knew that one way or another I was going to figure out something. And personally, the job I'm doing now, I was planning on doing that before college.
Okay.
I don't need a college degree for it. So it was just one of those things, I guess, a backup plan, but
was it business major? Is that what you're doing?
Finance major. So, and
I'm looking at that now and I'm like, that's a pretty sweet
it's not
set of
bad, man,
skills.
but I'm telling you, it's like doing stuff to make money in the real world, you can find ways on, there's so much YouTube. I mean, whatever you want to find it, you can find it. And going back, I don't think I would do it, because if I could jumpstart 4 years on this business, I think I could be
4 years ago.
Right. But I mean, everything happens for a reason. So
Yeah.
But yeah.
Cool. Were you doing college too? Or
Yeah.
both
So we were both at
UT
UT Nashville.
Okay. I gotcha.
Yep. It was a good experience.
Yeah.
I would say you definitely enjoyed like being there, meeting new friends, but just from the educational perspective, I couldn't imagine having 80 grand in my pocket, to now put towards something else.
Yeah,
again, just the jump start.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of 18-year-olds, they get caught up in, that next chapter of life. It's just, it's something that our society's really pushed.
Yeah.
And I just think there's so much more than just doing that. And it's crazy that you can spend 80, 100 grand plus, and then end up with, a $50,000 a year job out of school on salary. It's just like when you really think about it, it doesn't make sense.
I was telling Taylor, our lovely host with Garden Groove Recording Studios, we were talking about it earlier, like music school. I was like, I applied to Berkeley and like got into that for like guitar, and it was like $40,000 a semester or a year. I can't remember which one it is. And it's probably gone up significantly since then, but it's I've been thinking about like an Instagram account, like go out to an unnamed university and like go take some pictures or some videos and just be like, hey, how is this helping you get to your goal? Like, what is your goal? What are you going to do with your life? And
For
like,
sure.
Who's paying for your degree?
Yeah.
But not to segue too far onto that stuff, but there's a little bit of thing there where I'm just kind of like, why is this shill existing like this far? And why has it been perpetuated to the point where it's like, just get creative. Like,
No,
for sure.
absolutely. It is just the way society has paved it today. And I think, Jack hit it on the nail there. It's the way everything's going. So I think also, where is I going to go with this? Sorry.
We can't cut. We're live.
Pivot to another question. Yeah.
I mean, just going off what Mike was saying, I feel like it just boils down to being made for more and realizing it's just not, life's not about going through a cycle. It's just about being creative, using the gifts that God gave you and just expanding on that. So that's what we've always talked about.
Okay.
Give it up to Jesus.
Yeah. Give it up for Jesus. Seriously. All of us. So all right, this meant for more thing. Like what is kind of the vision that you guys have for your company, your personal lives, your faith, like all this encompassing, like each of you, if it's together with a vision, like, what does that look like for you guys right now?
I mean, for both of us, we're both believers. So I think everything's just center point on Christ.
Yeah.
Everything we do, every decision we make.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, I believe I can't do anything without Christ.
Yeah.
So it's really as simple as that.
Yes, sir. Bring it, Jack.
Yeah. I mean, he's got our business in his hands, so we talk about it every day. Like, we want to do something that's going to glorify the kingdom, and I feel like in a 9 to 5, I can't do that. I mean, I'm sure I can.
You can, brother.
I can. Absolutely, I can. But it's I think buying my time back. That's the most important thing.
Martell.
That's why. That is the whole reason I'm doing this, is just to get my time back. And me and Jack talk about it more than anything. The money doesn't really matter. It's more so I just want my time back.
Yeah.
And the things I can do with that. Like, we have buddies that want to do super cool things for the church, and being able to like fund something like that would be huge for us. And I mean, that goes back to the center of this whole business, is like, how can we glorify God doing this?
Yeah.
And I think that's how you have to be.
Yeah. I lose sight of it every day.
Yeah.
But it's hard to do that.
It
Talk
is.
about that tension a little bit. Like, because the greed is so easy. And
100%.
Fear and greed.
Yeah.
Those two things, man.
Yeah.
I think it boils down to, like, I mean, for both of us, we can't do anything without it. We've been through too many trials in the almost 2 years that we've had in this business.
Yeah.
Like, if we didn't have God, we couldn't make it.
Yeah.
Like, we'll get into more of our trials like later on, but like, it's been crazy. And times when there has been a big pinch, God has always been there and always come through. And it's like in the most mysterious and crazy ways. I really can't describe it. So,
and to pivot off that, it's like faith comes in big time in business. And, we've had, crazy things happen that for most people you could lose sight of your whole business and just pivot and go back to the whatever else you were doing.
Yeah.
And it's like, We actually feel like God's calling us to do something. So, and every single time, like a way's been made, you know, and
it's awesome.
That faith, I think it's just obviously from God is the biggest thing pushing us in this times.
Yeah, that's cool. So it was a real calling that you
For
felt
sure.
with this.
I feel it 100%. Yeah.
I think ultimately, like, entrepreneurship in general is just kind of an act of faith.
Yeah.
I think more than anything, like, think about any big entrepreneur.
Yeah.
You know, they at one point they had to take that leap.
Yeah.
You know, and they had to
Absolutely.
invest more than they had.
Sure.
You know, they had to spend more time than they had.
Yeah.
You know, and I think ultimately it's just an act of faith.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Did y'all, some of the tension that I'm holding with right now is like there's a little bit of debt now in this.
Oh, yeah. For
Which
sure.
is like, whoa, we closed on a loan this morning.
Yeah.
So I'm like, dang.
Yeah.
That's
For
real.
sure.
With a usury level interest rate. But you know, I'm like, okay, and we sign up for some more units.
Yeah.
Nice.
There you go.
It's
Let's
happening.
go. Let's
It's
do it.
happening.
Man.
It's happening.
That's what we want.
So yeah.
Let me talk to you about that real quick. So I know you said debt's involved. You haven't done anything with your business as far as getting any like 0% interest credit cards. Are you? So
I can pull up my FICO score and I can show you like the seismograph that's
oh
going
my
on.
gosh.
No, because it's I had a 445 about 2 years ago for some medical debt, and
Gosh, man.
what else was it? I just didn't pay a credit card because I was like super on drugs for a while there.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do this, and then like
Look at you now.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
Praise God.
Yeah, seriously. But no, so like that was a huge journey of like, oh, you got to make payments on time, like you got to do this stuff.
Yeah.
I just wasn't taught that stuff, and like my mom is a musical theater actress and like a dance teacher, and my dad's a metal artist, so it's like where's this kid getting the right brain stuff
For
from?
sure.
It's not mom and dad.
Sure.
Love you too. But like,
Sure.
so like really had to build the credit, and then now like I mean just to be transparent, it's probably like a 693, which is cool, you know. But
awesome.
that's like it said fair the other day. It's gonna tank in about 2 days here.
Yeah.
So, but I made sure to apply for the leases right before that stuff shows up on
For
there.
sure.
So I'm like, it's all about timing. That's why it's like it's all over the place. But
Yeah.
I put something on Instagram recently where it's like FICO's bogus. I'm like,
Yeah.
prove me wrong.
Yeah.
It's
I
just
know.
cheats,
Absolutely.
but let's talk about the 0% because that's
Sure.
if you can handle it, that's that's a really good break
Yeah.
that
So
down.
I mean, I'll kind of segue into the first bit of our business when we explored that route, because our whole thing was if this business model is profitable, then the 0% interest shouldn't matter because we should be able to pay it off. I mean, they built in the numbers when you run them, it's built a timeline for you to pay it back.
Yeah.
So getting into that, our first units that we picked up in Panama City Beach, the 2 studio units we
that's
talk
right.
about a lot.
Yeah. That you got kicked out of too.
We got kicked out of probably 2 months down the road. So yeah, just again, so much we've learned from because it was. I mean, we didn't give all the information we needed to up front, and I think when management switched over, there was a little issue with the Airbnb thing.
Okay.
And so
that little thing.
and it's kind of we talked about short-term rental, we talked about Furnish Finder, we talked about some of that stuff, but the important one's Airbnb because just the misconception people have with it. And management, they kind of gave us an ultimatum like, hey, we're going to evict you guys if you don't take down the listings or you can buy out. So keep in mind, we had probably around 20 grand worth of debt on these 2 units. I mean, we overspent on these 1-1s.
Whoa.
We're new. We overspent on them.
Whoa. Okay.
And I remember Jack called me at work and he's like, we got to make a decision. Like, what are we going to do? So we bought out of our leases there.
Yeah, it's like 2 months, 3 months, something like that.
3 months in. I mean, we made a little bit, nothing crazy, nothing enough to pay anything back. So
got
we
a bunch of furniture in a U-Haul you got to take somewhere.
Then you got to, did we end up getting our security deposits back or we lose those?
No, we got them back.
We got those back, but we
Yeah.
still had to pay a little bit of a buyout.
Yeah, they worked with us. They used those security deposits towards the buyout since there was a
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so
since there was an issue. So
They kind of worked with us there.
Yeah.
And then to go back to that point on the 0% interest cards, we had 20 grand of debt right there.
Yeah.
Nothing to show for it. I mean, we're out of these units. We bought out. We put our furniture in a storage unit in Florida, and me and Jack are back to square one, and we're like, oh, great. What did we just do?
Yikes.
So,
what did you just do?
getting into that. So
Yeah.
that's when we just got super aggressive. We're like, we got to find something that's furnished that we can get into super cheap and just see if we can get anything
so
going.
You found a furnished unit.
That's when we found, but it was talking about Scottsdale and how kind of we came across that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Luckily enough, like we had a little bit of capital to put towards this debt, but I mean, we didn't eat up much of it, just enough to like kind of make ourselves feel a little better. I mean, to make it less painful.
Okay.
But get into kind of how we found Scottsdale and Lily.
Yeah, absolutely. So just painting the picture, we're 3 months into this business.
Yeah.
We're 20 grand in the hole. And we're like, we got to figure something out. So we tried everything possible. Everything that we had been sourcing previously was calling and emailing leasing consultants at different like apartment communities. So we were sold on this like apartment dream, pick up 10, 15 units at a time.
The Haley Anderson.
And we had gone through, we had exhausted just about every market. Like no one wants Airbnb, no one wants short-term rentals. We're like, we got to find another route. Yeah. So we go on Zillow, start looking for single family stuff. We're like, okay, maybe this is a different route for us. Yeah. Single family and condos. But months go by, we pay more dumb fees for like people to find deals for us that never could really find deals for us. Dang. We wasted a bunch of time. But about at the end of that summer, so we're 20 grand in the hole about April of 2024. Okay. Then we get to the end of that summer and we find a fully furnished turnkey ready to go deal that makes sense.
Nice. Single family?
No, it's a condo, 2-bedroom, 2-bath condo. Yeah. So it made sense. Actually, to this day, it's probably our top performing unit
for sure.
that we have. Solid. So it was like perfect timing. So this starts spitting off some cash flow. Then we have a little bit of confidence. A month later, we end up getting something in Indiana. Okay. And it's a 4-bedroom, 4-bath. Whoa. So both of these are big properties. Next thing you know, we're starting to kind of turn that corner a little bit. Yeah. And so that's where what we were talking about earlier, just kind of that miracle comes in. You know, like you think you're done and God's not done. You know, so that's really what it was.
And the biggest thing, like going back to how that all pivots into the 0% interest, is like we would never have been able to start without that because we didn't have the capital to throw at it. And it's like, I think a lot of people are scared to borrow money. And I think that's not a great
I grew up with Dave Ramsey. It's like very
100%. And it's not great debt. Like 0% credit card debt's, I mean, we can talk about it all day. It's a terrible way to get debt. But if you can buy the right deal, it'll pay itself off. And I think that's helped us scale quicker. You know, I think we'd be in a much bigger spot if we didn't go 20 grand in the hole in the first deal. Yeah. But I think how we got to the point we are right now was because we leveraged our money. Yeah. And I mean, it's a healthy spot. Eventually you have to, create some sort of debt schedule for yourself and like allocate funds, taxes, all of it. Yeah. And we're just now getting the hang of that and sort of understanding it. But
it's my first year with tax debt. It's not fun.
Man, dude, it's tough. Gotta definitely put some away for it. But
But ultimately, I felt like both of us felt like getting started is better than not getting started.
Yeah, absolutely.
So like that $20K price tag, I would pay 1,000,000 times over again, as crazy as it sounds, because we know that there's other people who were sitting on the sidelines when we took action, and now we have an understanding of what this business is. Yeah. And the reason we spent 20 grand, you're probably wondering, why did we spend 20 grand on two one-bedroom units? Yeah. You're probably wondering.
It's like 12.
We spent money on
per square foot.
We spent money on mentorships. This is all.
Brothers.
We didn't.
We fell for it.
we didn't know what we were doing. So any avenue, any bit of knowledge, like we were just trying to invest in and see if it could work out for us. Yeah. So that wasn't all allocated, obviously, towards those units. Yeah. And then also like these were out of state units that we budgeted and set up ourselves, all with Amazon, and drove everything down. So it was, I mean, it was a lot of work, a lot of sweat equity.
Very sloppy.
Very sloppy.
But it sounds like that's the best. Oh, no. Not that. Those were the Panama City ones?
Yes.
Those, okay, I gotcha. And then Scottsdale, that's the one that's like the best one for you right now?
Yeah, it's sitting.
I gotcha.
That's, probably top performer.
What did you do with the furniture in Florida?
Good question. Yeah, so we actually... We brought it, it's funny, we brought it all back so we took a U-Haul from Tennessee down to Florida. Okay. Loaded up this U-Haul, just me and Jack. We drove it back to his house all in one day, unloaded it, And then the next morning woke up, loaded, we didn't unload all of it. We unloaded the stuff we weren't going to use in Indy.
Yeah.
And then we took off to Indiana. Went straight to Indiana the next morning and used all that furniture because that kind of helped us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ramp that up because we had to reuse the furniture. I mean, at that point, you have to. But yeah, that's what we did with it. And then we sold off a few of the pieces on like Facebook Marketplace just to kind of recoup anything. But again, to that whole point of the 20 grand, like Jack said, I'd go back and do it again because of what we learned from it. And it's almost like, sure, we probably could have paid that with the mentorship, but just getting in and doing it and doing the thing and every aspect of it. I mean,
you're going to get burned at some point somewhere along the line.
100%. But now we're at the spot where it's like we get 2 new units, 3 new units, we can delegate all of it. And it's like we can have our interior designer / project manager go out there, order all the design.
Y'all are like way more set up than I was hearing on the phone the other night. That's awesome.
Yeah. So I mean, and that's what we've done for the past, 3 going on 5 units. Is we've just had someone else take care of all of it, and man, it's like so nice doing that because
cool.
But we wouldn't have been able to do that without learning the process, failing at the process, and like figuring out, okay, this is the better way to do it, right? So, like I said, it all has its purpose.
Yeah. Buying back your time.
Also, furniture does not appreciate, Joe.
Furniture
does not appreciate.
Man, this is a couch flipper. This is I bought a furniture rental company 3 months ago. Yeah, it does not.
You know all about it, right?
I know all about that.
For sure.
Yeah. So why are you saying that?
Yeah, because we lost all the money on the resale.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh yeah, we took a hit. Took a hit.
Bro, so our first unit, it was like, and the video, I don't know if y'all watched it, but it was like, I mean, just like lowballing, like every morning, just like sitting on the toilet, and it was like $25, $25 for like some lawn furniture, and it was like, everything's listed at 150, and it's like, man, I got this spreadsheet, I got to fill this up, and then it was like, oh, I can like buy local art if I like lowball like 15 people, and then it's like, I could get a GameCube in here if I like lowballed 30 people. So that's kind of what I was thinking, but I found the couch on the side of the road, and that was pretty cool.
There you go.
Dude, and what you put together with that unit, I mean, it looks solid. You would have thought you ordered all your pieces with some sort of design going on, but it's probably a little help from the wife there.
Yeah.
Actually, no.
No? You got the design in you?
I used to be a designer at Restoration Hardware. That was my own game. So I love that part, but it's still like it's a lot of time. I think I was just kind of like, I'm like red, very like synesthesia about it. I was like, okay, there's red, there's a little bit of orange, there's like a paisley rug, white sheets, and then I was like, that's all I got to go off of. Just like kind of follow that, and like we'll see where that goes.
100%.
Follow your bliss a little bit.
It worked out.
You're way ahead of us, that's for sure. On our compared
that's
to our
where we
What was it? So like your timeline on that stuff? Because it was like, you decide to do this stuff, and then like you get into it, and then it's just like how long was that before it was like? When was your first booking from the? That's a
so we
question.
we set up in Panama City in February. We got our first bookings in February, and then obviously in the Panhandle, March, April, all the way probably through October. Big months.
So those units were eaten.
They were we had crazy bookings from the jump at high rates, and then just to know that everything's gonna stop, So,
jeez,
but. And then to that same point, it was like just for our timeline on where we're at with the business now. It's started in November of 23. That's when we sat down, created our LLC and everything.
Sure.
Didn't get the first units till February.
Okay.
So pretty quick for some timeline. I mean,
for sure.
You were much quicker, but
there was some brewing, but
100%. It takes time to get started.
Absolutely.
But once you get started, then I mean, of course we had the issue there, so it took a little bit longer to try and figure out. But I think was it June or July with Arizona?
It was July.
July with Arizona,
July.
And then was it August or September?
Yeah, and then into August we went back-to-back months.
Yeah, back-to-back months there.
Yeah.
So we're trying to recoup, and then we went for a stretch without getting anything. It was tough to find something. January comes around, and then we're in Texas.
Okay.
So we got a 3-bed, 3-bath there in Texas.
Or that was the beginning of December, right?
I thought we went. So December, January, same kind of timeline there. And then, from there, after that was
Utah.
Yeah, was Utah.
So. Oh my gosh. So there's 10 altogether right now, you
said? 7 altogether.
Yeah.
Right now.
7,
So
okay.
a couple fell
Okay.
through in
Yeah.
Utah.
Okay.
And we were able to scoop up a couple, 2
Gotcha.
there. So and then
Okay.
2 in Nashville coming soon.
Yeah.
Get to be roommates.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Roommates.
Yeah.
In the same building. That's
So
right.
crazy.
that'll be fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it will be. So, okay, I got a few questions, and I think
Sure.
this would be kind of helpful for the audience.
Yeah.
So, like systems, that is something where I am like, if someone calls me right now and says I broke my leg, like I have to go do the insurance claim on this type
Yeah.
of thing.
Yeah.
And like, I don't need that up here right now. That's not good. But yeah, like, so I'm totally manual on everything, and like you guys have gone. You have VAs. Sounds like you have project managers, design consultants. Like, what does your team consist of, role wise, and like how many people are on it? What does that look like?
Yeah, so we got 2 virtual assistants. We have one that's 9 to 5,
Yeah.
and then the other one that's 5 to 1 a.m.
Dang.
technically.
Okay.
Yep. So we have a little bit of a gap in the middle of the night if something
Yeah.
were to happen.
Okay.
We kind of like our odds there right now.
Yeah.
But eventually we'll get someone to fill that spot.
Okay.
We operate everything. All communication for our business goes through Discord.
Okay.
So Mike had that idea.
That's right. Okay.
So we created different channels for every property. So it has
Nice.
like cleaners, handymen in each channel.
Okay.
And then our virtual assistants, they have access to everything. So all of our softwares. And they know how to do insurance claims through Airbnb with us.
Nice.
The only insurance claims that we would have to take care of is if it's through our other insurance
Okay.
that we use. So we use a third-party insurance, not just
Okay.
Airbnb's air cover
Is
policy.
it proper?
It is. Yep.
Those go Lloyd's of London.
Yeah.
That's right.
Solid,
they're,
bro.
they're pretty
Solid.
solid.
Yeah, so they're great. And then on top of like just setup, it's really just sourcing 3 interior designers in every single market that we're going to get into, basically we just have them all bid out against each other, and then we take our best option. So
That's
and
awesome.
really what our standard operating procedure is with that is we want to get 3 bids. For at least 3 bids for every single hire that we're going to make.
Okay.
Because that is going to help us know that we've vetted as many people as possible, and
Yeah.
we're going to have the best option moving forward.
That's great. Okay.
Get them to compete against each other a little bit.
Yeah.
So
For real. I'm doing that with cleaning right now.
Yeah,
yeah,
for sure.
man,
Cleaners are hard.
that's tough.
That's our biggest eater of margin, and it's so weird because
Oh, yeah.
I'm talking about people right now, but I'm like, dude, we paid $1,100 this month for cleaning.
Yeah,
like, that's
it's
a
just-
partnership right there. That's not a 1099.
No, absolutely. I mean, that's where, and we're realizing that now that our business is where it's at, is we're looking back at everything and we're like, okay, how can we trim the fat? Like
Yeah.
in every single, every single place we're at, it's just where are we overpaying?
Yeah.
And I think cleaners was just a huge eye opener on seeing what you spend on cleaners. And
Yeah.
it's tough. It's tough to find a reliable cleaner.
Sure.
It's tough to find, you can find a reliable one, but you're going to pay the price for them.
Absolutely.
And it's you got to find the fine line of getting someone that is reliable, loves what they do,
Yeah.
and is also not going to charge you something crazy. Because everyone hears Airbnb, they want to upcharge you, and
Absolutely.
when it's not the craziest clean, it's
Yeah.
typically they're quick turns. If you have,
I walk through some of these, and it's like, was there somebody here? Like, it looks like somebody
For
just kinda
sure.
rolled around on the bed for
Yeah.
10 minutes, and like
Yeah.
there's a hair sprinkled or two like that in
Yeah.
the shower.
and that's
It's like,
what we'll do. Just on that point, it's like when
Yeah.
we go travel to any of these places, we won't even stay in our own Airbnbs. We'll stay in other people's just to gather
Nice.
information and
Okay,
insight on what
that's
they
pretty
do.
smart.
And
Huh.
yeah, we'll pop in for a night or two, and it'll.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
we act like it almost looks as if no one was ever there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I know that, just
Yeah.
being in the business, the cleans aren't anything crazy, but people
Yeah.
will still want and maybe because they're spur of the moment.
Yeah.
You don't know you have a job until the night before.
Yeah, and that 11 to 3 p.m. window is just like, how do you get somebody to work full time doing that?
100%.
Like, that's not full time.
So, and that's what we just been talking about adding. We had a meeting about it the other day.
Yeah.
Dude, we're trying to get like 3 or 4 cleaners in every market.
That's what you're
and-
saying a little bit. Yeah.
So we built out the list for our VAs to go through, and we kind of list them as primary, secondary, used for deep cleans.
Okay.
Because if we can do a deep clean per month, we'll be in a good spot with the property,
good.
just in
Yeah.
case the cleaners aren't doing a fantastic job.
Yeah.
But so yeah, if we can get 4 in every market, you're gonna have people that cancel. You're gonna have people that flake.
Yeah.
If they cancel, you don't want to have to go to Nashville and
No.
clean. So that's the biggest thing with cleaners.
We
So-
have one where it was like the first girl that we hired. She was great, fresh from Cuba, had papers, and was like good to go. I was like,
Let's do it.
sweet, no English whatsoever. My wife is like conversation level 1 in Spanish, and she's like, I don't get the Cuban dialect, and so I'm like, all right, tell her, like, we got to get the sheets off the bed. And she's like, El Cheeto, Obedo. And I'm like, oh, honey, that's, yeah. And she's like, okay, cool. And like, just kind of doing her thing. And I was like, oh, she knows what to do better than I do. And
100%.
I'm like fumbling around in here. And I'm like, I made this thing. And then it's like, she's making it better. And then it was like, she was willing to do it for $20 an hour. And that was great. But she didn't have enough hours with it. And then like one day, like her car broke down and I was like, she like calls me and she's like, ah! And I'm like, oh boy. I heard like vehicular or something. And I was like, oh, car is broken down. And like, I hear the high like in the background. And it's like, she had a friend who spoke English and he called on a 3-way call. And I was like, what's going on, man? He was like, car broke down. And I was like, oh, like, can I get an Uber right now? And I like started to go like change the sheets out and stuff. So it's that type of thing where it's like, y'all are fully remote.
Yeah.
What is so
that's the biggest thing I think, and the difference between your company and kind of where we started is we were forced to go fully remote.
Yeah.
I mean, we can't just drive up to Panama City and fix something if something goes wrong.
Right.
And Jack, I'll give it up to Jack on that one because he was talking about, he's like, I don't want to do anything in Nashville right now. I want to do everything outside of Nashville. So it forces us to delegate. And it's exactly what it did, man. I mean, it forced us to put systems in place for every single thing. Even,
that's the son of a multifamily developer right there.
Yeah, 100%.
That's what that is.
Yeah. And I thank him for it every day because it's at the point where essentially our business is on autopilot. I mean, we're doing
from an operations standpoint.
Standpoint, we're on top of it trying to grow it, and that's where our focus needs to be. But I mean, from operations standpoint, it's just So that's what we always tell you, like, hey, start looking at this kind of stuff because as you grow, you're going to hope you have something in place for it because it's going to get to the point where you're still answering guest communications and you got, 3 or 4 properties and it's going to get tough. So
and it's going to be 5 properties in August 1st.
Nice, dude.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we're tranching it out a little bit. It's more in the Artemis one too. So it's like more studios.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, it's cool, but I'm just like, like how do I? And there's a little bit of that control thing, like I'm a little bit of a control freak.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna like do a little audit on my own, like personality and everything. And I'm just like, I don't want to give this over to somebody who can mess up my reputation.
It's
like,
tough.
Yeah, and you were saying like you were getting your VAs on as like co-hosts and everything like that. So it's like everybody's like an authorized user on everything.
100%.
That's nice.
We've given up some information to get there and plugging people in, but to that same point, it's like you have to have big trust in this business because if you try to do it all yourself, it's not going to work, or
you'll burn out.
You're going to burn out and or be working, your whole time on it, and it defeats the purpose of it, right? So the biggest thing with that is cleaners, like that's your reputation, and they don't care about it as much as you do, obviously. They're just there to collect their pay. And, we've gotten reviews just based on, laziness from our cleaners, but at the end of the day, it's on us. Yeah. Right? If we keep them going, that's on us. We got to make a decision to fire and put someone else in there to fix it. But you're going to have to give up. So you're going to have to trust people. And
it's going to happen. Like
it's part of it, but it'll all work out. You're going to be thankful for it.
Yeah. How do you, okay. So like there's two things that conflict with that, like getting to that place with where I am now. Cause like, I think my calendar's 98% booked. Like, it's like 2 days, but I'm like, you're probably like, because his prices are too low.
Yeah.
Sure. So like, that's a little bit of the problem. So I'm like, but if it's the scarcity thing in my head where I'm like, okay, but if I like raise my prices, I'm not going to get as many bookings. And then like, how do I get to the point where I can like actually get margins to hire those people? Because then it's like, in the first video, I was like, my wife is going to have a baby in 5 months and this is going to pay for our bills. And it's like, no, not if you want to grow it. If you want to get a bit more and like actually get that on a good path. So it's, and I just started on a Zillow lead team for the real estate stuff, and that's been keeping me busy during the day. So I'm like, that's going to pay the bills, which is nice. But this is like, I have this on kind of like a trajectory where it's like in like 1 year, I want to get to the point where this is like, that's on autopilut too.
Dude,
it's growing to the point where it's doing well.
You'll be there soon, for sure.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
But dang.
Yeah, but back to the delegation, I think just a good perspective there. If you can find someone that can do 80% of the quality of work that you can do, you got a winner. That's because if you think about it, you're never going to find someone that's going to do 100% of the quality of work that you can do. And if you're always searching for that, you're just going to be hung up searching for something that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Because no one cares more than Joe about Joe's units.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah. So
There was, so I used to work for Gibson. I don't know if I can say that. I think I can, but it was good. It was like, but it was my first leadership role. I was like 21, and they like put me in this room with 35 other people, and they're like, "You're in authority over this 72-year-old, packing boxes for 25 years. He'll know more than you ever will about this place." And I'm like, "Okay, cool." And like, so like the delegation thing, I haven't done this in 3-4 years now, so it's like that part of the brain has just been latent, and I'm like, so I really grew, and like there were several people who became like advocates. So it was like you like really pour into these people, and they're gonna like pour into the other people. It's like discipleship 101 type of thing. So like Sean was like my go-to guy, and like he would just go train everybody, and I'm like, whoa, he can like just multiply this stuff. So that was really nice, and like, I don't know, man. I feel like I got kind of burned. Like afterwards, I was like, I lost all of this. I left that job, and I just like kind of crashed out. And I was like, I had just met Haley, my wife now, and I was like, I'm just gonna go start a business. And so I left my job with no savings, and like, paying like $600 a month on like food or something like that. And like,
that's what it takes.
Started flipping couches, and then that was like. It's like, oh, I'm not making enough money. And it's like, well, because you're playing Borderlands 3 at night and like not working on something else. And
self-audit.
Exactly. She was like, you need to get a job. And like, especially if you're going to marry me. So
I'm
like, I remember asking her dad if I could marry her. And I was just like, oh, like he's going to ask about my job, isn't he? And I'm like, I've been unemployed for like 6 months. I'm like, I got like couches in my car all the time and stuff like that. And I was like, okay. Yeah, I got into sales after that. So it was like a good little segue. But
Dude,
you gotta keep cash flow up. Like,
for sure.
Because y'all are both full time, like, right? Outside of this.
We got full-time jobs, man.
Yeah, and you're okay, car sales, and then your property management.
That's
property management has my heart. So okay, how is that balance? Like, how was it at the beginning, I guess, too?
There is no balance. I'll just put it that way. So, I mean, we get up. We actually both go to the same CrossFit class. So we're at CrossFit.
That's why y'all are freaking ripped. Okay, I was like, y'all are giants.
So we go to CrossFit in the morning, go straight to our 9 to 5s.
Okay.
At our 9 to 5s, after our 9 to 5s, we get on the phone. We meet up after we eat dinner, and we work till 8 or 9 o'clock at night. And that's
like now.
Yeah, that's now.
Okay.
And that's just been the cycle. Because I mean, we're aggressive and we want to grow. But I mean, there really is no balance, you know, but we both have a vision, and that outweighs the pain of the balance.
Sure.
You know, obviously I have a wife, so I carve out time. I carve out time for my wife.
Okay.
But you know, outside of that, it's just, we were just talking about it in the car. It's like, if we're going to do something with friends, it's got to be at 9:30 at night. You know, it's got to be at 9 o'clock at night.
You
know?
I mean, it's like Hormozy's like, like, if they don't support your goals, then make your triceps bigger.
You're not working hard enough.
Right. Get more. That's okay.
So it's tough.
How is that with? Are you married too? Or?
No, I'm single.
So nice. There you go. You got the time.
So my time.
There you go. You'll be a lucky woman when it's the right time.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Goal, right?
So, yeah, it is. It was. It's been a heck of a journey with selling. This vision of like, you know, because at first it was, and I read Rich Dad Poor Dad probably like 8 years ago.
Oh yeah.
And it was like, holy shit. Like this is new.
Like,
that's how money works. And like I don't have to be jealous anymore. And like it was cool. And like I think God put that in my life. And I went on this weird journey of like got to be a billionaire, and it's like the pride thing kind of fell at a certain point, and it's just like, oh no, it's more about the like, if you have friends at church, how do you fund that? Like I don't really want to go be the missionary anymore. I would love to go over like 1040 window at one point, but like I mean that's funding people who go do that type of thing. That's great. The heart journey with this stuff, with the pride and just kind of like letting that go to God was a long journey, and so I got to this point with Haley. Pretty early on, it was just kind of like I was still kind of getting over that stuff, and she was just like, oh, this guy just wants to be rich, and like, and she did YWAM in Africa, so it was like, so she was awesome. No shoes, or she probably wore shoes, but like, you know, nothing except for the backpack for like a year, I think. So and so she's like very not materialistic whatsoever, and it's like my mom too was like very I mean, I think it's really reductionist to say like poverty mentality, but very much like, you know, like no, like people don't need money, like they just need to be content. And then it's like I'm not a socialist. Like, so with Haley, like that marriage balance has been so tough to get to the point where it's like, okay, she trusts me now. She trusts me like implicitly, which is like really cool. And it's not like oh, whatever, baby, like you just figure it out. It's like she's like, I gotta convince her, and like she knows my motives are right and like my heart's in the right place. And it's like, okay, this is. I think the whole generational wealth thing is kind of a buzzword a little bit, where it's like, yeah, man, like I want my kids to not have to go through something. And I'm like, no, dude, they got to work a job.
Absolutely.
Like they got to learn this the hard way too. Like I'm not going to give them more money than they need. Like they're not going to just go to whatever college they want. It's like go to community college and I'll pay for that. Like, if you want to go to state, like figure that out. Man.
Exactly right.
But yeah, it's interesting now because like I think my goals have gotten smaller in a way where it's like it's just I want to like enrich my family. I want to go take them to Europe and like
bingo,
do the World War I battle trails and like teach them that stuff, and like we're gonna go to the Holocaust Museum and like just all that, like just go see all the crazy stuff that I'm passionate about with like the history and everything, and like I want to take my kids there, all that stuff, and like I don't think I can do that with like there is no such thing as a 9 to 5 anymore. I feel like. But like, I can't really do that with a W-2. So
for sure.
Exactly.
You get 16 days of PTO a year. You know, I mean, you can't fit the trails in Europe, you know, into those 16 days. So
just can't enjoy life to its fullest, you know. Working for someone else's dream. So there's so much opportunity here, and that's what me and Jack saw. So we're trying to get after it and create our own legacy.
Yeah. You said that you were doing like construction development. Do y'all have any plans of like pivoting at some point? Is this the cash flow is the most important thing?
Yeah.
What's the long-term goal?
So I really think just getting into, a sector of business that can scale and understanding how to scale a business. I think that's the biggest like foundational piece to it, because obviously arbitrage isn't the end goal. The end goal is doing something way bigger than arbitrage. And I see it like as industry caps. The top guy in arbitrage is probably only doing $5-10 million, but then
that's a lot.
Yeah, for sure. But then there's other industries where your top guys are doing $5 billion. And so I think it's just
economies of scale.
Absolutely. It's understanding how to run a business, how to run a team, how to delegate tasks, and now how can I take this skill set that we've learned and compound it into something bigger. I don't know exactly what the future holds for Mike and I, but we've definitely talked about multifamily and doing big scale deals that way. But I think it starts here.
Absolutely.
So, the goal is just grow this thing to the best of our ability. And prove ourselves that we can, start a business, make it profitable, make it successful, and whatever that looks like. It's different for everyone. And then, of course, turn it into whatever comes next. But the whole goal is we love Airbnbs. We want to be in Airbnbs probably till we die, but eventually we want to get to the point where you're buying them. You have hard assets. But again, arbitrage is just such a good way to generate cash flow that can fund that kind of stuff. And like I said, it's if you do it right, you can scale it quick. And
absolutely.
And you're noticing it too. Like, dude, you've been at it. When did you first call us? I mean,
Preston. Our favorite mortgage loan officer at Element Home Loans sent me your number. I think probably February.
And look at you. You're about to have 5 units. I mean, it's
by the end of the summer.
It's pretty freaking quick, man.
Record speed, bro.
Right in time for the low season.
For sure.
It's part of it, bro.
It is, man. But it's the sustainability. I don't know. Everything is speculative. Like any business is like, I got a hot dog cart. It's like, are there going to be people that are going to pick up my hot dogs after the ball game, or so like. This was just the one that we picked. It's like, I mean, anything would have worked. It's just like that are you taking one step forward and like
For sure.
doing that? And that's
Yep.
like there's so much fear, but like I'll tell you the story. My dad, 2002, I think he like my parents. I was born in Seattle. They took me down. They got scared of Y2K, and like my dad was a metal artist and everything, and he was just like not fully left brain. So like he was just like, oh man, if I like got a credit card, bought a forklift, a welder, and then went to architects, like that's a business plan in and of itself.
Yeah.
So like got a business credit card, the 0% down.
Oh, yeah.
Like, yeah, and the 12 months no interest. And like got the forklift for $1,500 and got the welder, and then like just went to every architect and was just like, hey, like I can do anything.
Yeah.
And they were like, really? And they're like, there's this cool drawing that we want to do. We got to send this to like Shanghai, and then it's got to come back, and then it's got to go over to Italy. And he's like, no, I can do it like in 3 weeks. I'm like, so yeah, he ended up building like the dish under the chandelier in the JP Morgan Chase building.
Nice,
in New York.
That's
dude.
crazy.
Yeah, it's like, but just weird stuff where he's like, I think if we use rollerblades on like a spinny wheel and then we like bring the polishers down from the ceiling, like that might work. And now he's like builds these crazy machines and stuff.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like it's taking that first risky step, like that 20 grand debt.
Yeah,
Like
for sure.
Yeah. And now it's like, I mean, if y'all want to talk numbers, like right now I'm like, this loan this morning was like 22% interest.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I looked at it, I put it on a spreadsheet, and I was like, I know that's exorbitant, but I'm like, I know we can do this. Like,
Yeah.
And that's we bought a furniture rental company like 2 months ago. I deferred payments to July 15th. So like that's $950 a month coming up. The debt's like $360 a month. So I'm like, we got it. We have to get more units.
Sure.
So like that's the fire under the butt where it's like,
Talk to us about this loan a little bit. So
yeah, you want
I'm just curious, man, because all we've dealt with is 0% right now.
Yeah.
But so are you borrowing from a bank? Are you borrowing?
Yeah, it was a personal loan.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And it's like that scared the hell out of me because like I went to Chase like twice.
Sure.
And so like the first time we did Haley's credit, she didn't have a thing in her name until like that day.
Yeah.
And so she was like off the grid completely. And then they like ran her credit and I was like, oh, she's got a 715. I was like, because there's nothing in her
Just
name.
a null credit.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
So they ran it. They ran it. And like most bankers are just going to be like, oh, it didn't come back. Like good, you know, and I'm like, okay, cool. Like what's the explanation so that we can work on this? And they're like, no history. And I was like, oh, I could have told you that. And then like, so a couple weeks ago, I went back to Chase and like, I didn't want to ding my personal credit too hard because I'm like, I know it's already like, my credit file's not great. You know, it's like, you just look back at it and it's like, he's trying too many business ideas, that type of thing. And so yeah, I went back to him and I was like, hey, I think I'm at a high point right now, like with the score, at least for whatever that means. And I'm like, I've got payments like for 2 years now that are like totally on time and all that stuff. And we applied and I think he was kind of a newer kid and he was just like, and I was like, let me tell you like how I think this is going to go. And like, you tell me your thoughts. And he was just kind of like I think we should try it. And I'm like, of course you think we should try it. Like, of course you get the loan dollars. Like, but it came back denied. So I was like, all right, I got like one of my best friends, a banker at Regions, and they're the most conservative freaking bank in the world. But I was like, I have accounting history with you guys, and I'm like, I know this interest rate's going to be like really bad, but like the numbers worked, man. It's like I think in like a year, like I'm gonna try to put everything that I can from like the real estate into this as well. So it's like that's keeping me super busy. I think we just shot an offer today, so that's our first 3 weeks of that job, and it's like I think we're gonna have something under contract tomorrow. So
nice, dude.
that's good.
That's
awesome.
So
okay,
so
you asked me to tell you about the loan, and I gave you more of a life story. So
no, but that's cool. I'm just so personal loan.
Personal loan.
You tried Chase with the personal loan as well?
I tried Chase with the business credit card.
Cool.
Yeah.
So personal loan, and then I know the first unit's in your name, right? Personal name, and then how about the next
4 are going to be in that too?
Your name? Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Gotcha.
I mean, I got the insurance, and I'm like, I'm kind of weighing these things, and it's like, any investor is going to be like, you need a trust and an LLC.
Yeah.
And it's like, I can't, like, I'm not going to qualify for that. Like, I got to have a letterhead with 3 creditors in my LLC's name. So I'm like, I could do Truvy.
Yeah.
I could do like 2 others that were like y'all and like someone else.
But honestly, that would probably work. Like these guys they ask for all this information, figuring you're probably just like, I don't have that, I won't send it. But dude, you could just You can makeshift a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
That's what I kind of figured too. I mean, this one was like the rates were lower with the personal lease instead of the corporate. So I'm like, it still works out. It still pencils in. Like I'm still like $400 under like a 1-bedroom in Midtown Nashville is like $1,557 for like the rate for the rent, and like I think these are like $1,200 or $1,300.
Yeah.
So it's like it's still good. It's still a good deal, but
For sure.
I'm scared. I had a 22% interest loan on my car, like, and we paid it off. So it's like, and it was like way before the term. So like I'm not afraid of interest. It's like it's just like you gotta attack that shit like hard.
Yeah, just have a
quickly.
plan for it. I mean, if the numbers make sense, it makes sense. So
Yeah. So you're like, bro, like, what did you do? Like,
no, I think you got it, bro.
this is mine.
Yeah.
Also, with the Midtown units, just to shift over to that, I think there definitely are some perks of having it in your personal name, and you can kind of talk about that. Like, if we were to do a corporate lease, we don't get concessions, you know. And
They're
so,
hard about that.
And so, like, I mean, talk a little bit about that. You know?
The first one I got a good deal on it. Was like 8 months or no 8 weeks free on that one, and then I think the security deposit was $500 for it. Which y'all already like signed a lease there and everything?
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, cool. They're not gonna do concessions.
No.
Like, and even with this one, it was like I weaseled in on that first one. So this one, I'm like, I'm not gonna get it. But it's like, and they probably hit you with the whole like market rate thing too. So
For sure.
I'm still paying that, but it's like the number's still good. So it's like it works out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did y'all get a 2-bedroom or a 1-bedroom?
We got 2 studios.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yes.
We'll be rocking with
It's a
you,
good
man.
product, fellas.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Shout out Joe.
But out in Utah, really we try and get weeks free. Out in Utah, a big reason why we went out there, we got 2 months free as on 2 units for arbitrage. So our June and July are completely free.
That's like $8,000 in the bank.
Yeah, for sure.
Whoa.
And so that's what accelerates
Times
this.
5.
and so that's what we learned from our first units. Like we can't take on units moving forward without concessions because that accelerates your debt payback.
Yeah.
Like imagine having 2 months or 6 weeks with
a 22% interest rate.
Yeah. But in Houston, that was kind of when we really started to figure that out. We got 6 weeks free there.
6 weeks free, wave deposits.
Yeah.
Or like super low deposits.
Yeah, super low deposits.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome.
And just it helps accelerate and makes that debt a lot less scary because you can take those free weeks that you have, those free months that you have, and just throw it straight towards that debt.
That's awesome.
And just accelerate the payback.
Yeah.
So
just 3 months and you're done.
Yeah, exactly.
That's sick.
Yeah.
That's the goal.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. What? Okay, so like establishing business credit, like what did y'all do what did you do to get there? Like,
so I mean, our personal credit was pretty solid, just so I think that helped us out a lot.
Y'all never did drugs, did you? That'll change your life, fellas.
Credit score down. No, it's so I guess in that aspect we were it just kind of worked out a little bit easier. But when we applied for the Chase, they pulled your personal, right?
Yeah, they pulled my personal
Yeah.
to use for the business because we had no business credit.
Yeah.
But business credit's a pain. It takes time to like build.
Yeah.
And when we went into these first units, they screened us and they said we went under corporate leases on these first 2.
Okay.
They said you have no business credit.
Right.
And we're like, yeah. I was like,
check again.
They're like,
to build it.
Refresh the page.
they were like, your LLC's been open for a month. Like,
Oh, they hit me with that.
Oh yeah.
They're like, your LLC's been open for a month. You have no credit. And somehow, I don't even know how we got those on corporate leases, but we did.
TransUnion is automated.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That, and we also built such a good relationship with the property manager that was there before
that's
she
key.
switched, and she fought for us to get us a chance at it.
Nice.
We paid pretty good deposits on it just to get them to accept it, but in our heads we were like, okay, if we can just get in on 2 units under our corporate lease, it's going to make it easier going down the road.
Nice.
Which the hardest part when it comes to getting stuff under your corporate name is when you're working with apartment complexes.
God.
When you're doing a
They
landlord,
just don't,
when you're doing a landlord, I mean, it's almost like seller financing to a degree. Like you make
That's
the terms
true.
of it, and so we had no issue there.
brother.
There you go.
Yeah.
We had no issues there.
Okay.
But Yeah, it's just getting someone to take a chance on you.
Yeah.
And especially since you're starting with apartment complexes, is like getting someone to take a chance with you on your corporate name. Because when you get to the point where you're at, 10 plus units, you don't want them all on your personal name. It's
you're right.
You want to figure a way to get them under that, because if something does go wrong, it's going to backfire on your business, not you. There will be a way out, and that's
not a way out right now.
I don't think you're in a bad spot though, and I mean that for real. I mean that for real. But as you grow, that should be something on your mind. Is like, how can I get this in my corporate name?
Okay.
That's how you're going to grow the business as well. Just building that credit and building stuff within it. So.
Yeah, the relationship part was really good too. That was like Maddie and Keandria. Shout out to them.
Yeah.
They're great, man.
Absolutely.
Artemis.
Yeah.
They were. Did y'all work with them?
Yeah, both of them actually.
Both of them.
They
Yeah.
rock. Yeah.
Rock stars.
They are, for sure. The relationship side is like, that was like, because when she sent me the corporate lease application, I was like, 3 creditors on a letterhead. I'm like, what is a letterhead?
Right.
I was born in 1998. And so I just freaked out, but then I called her back and I was like, hey, my LLC was born a month ago, like that same type of thing. And I was like, can I do a personal lease? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, I really don't want to slow this down, but like, can we just do this? And she was like, yeah, absolutely. So that was cool. And like, there was another guy in the similar portfolio, like, you've probably underwritten everything in Nashville. He like bought or got 11 units and then like didn't permit them. And then went live.
No.
And so the ownership over this portfolio that will remain unnamed, it was like, what are y'all going to do for the rest of that lease? Like, yo. Because Metro in Nashville is hardcore.
For sure.
Like that
Permitting's
process,
big time there.
Yeah, man. Are y'all like, what's your timeline on these 2 units that you're working on?
Mid-June.
Yeah, mid-June should be live.
Late June.
Working on permitting now, so.
Okay, yeah. If you need help with that,
we'll be giving you a call for that for sure.
Yeah.
Nick at Metro, he's solid.
The guy, cool.
We've actually emailed him a few times. He's quick.
Dude, he's very quick.
He's very quick.
Which you don't, and I called a few other people about this, but it's like usually if there's an office within a metropolitan government that makes money, they will call back quicker.
For sure.
But it's 100%. Like with public transportation, that's totally different.
For sure.
You're cooked. That's right.
Yeah.
But I wanted to ask you something about, so you got 4 units, right? 4 you're adding.
Yeah.
What's the, have you thought about the plan after? Like, are you trying to stay in Nashville long term with these, or what's kind of your goal with Arbitrage?
Yeah, what's my goal in life? It's like to not die. I think that's a big one. And like raise my kid well. But like, I haven't really been the luxury of thinking 2 steps ahead. Like I've been playing checkers for the past decade. I'm like, I was a pretty feral like 5 years ago. So I'm like, I'm just starting to think like a little bit further ahead.
I got you.
But I mean, I think 10 would be that mark of like, the financial freedom, like, let's go to Bali for a month.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, hang out on the beach. And like, we're not going to be, what is that? Like the FIRE community, the financial independence, retire early type of thing, And I'm like, I don't need to invest in the stock market for that. I don't really want to do that. Like, I don't think like John Piper had that sermon about like the shells. You don't want to be retired at 40. I don't really have a solid answer on it, but I just want to grow something that like my mom, I want to buy her a house one day. And that's like in cash. Like, I don't want to have a mortgage. I really don't. I want to sell her finance. I want to do creative stuff. Like, I graduated high school. I was homeschooled, and it was just like very, like, mom was like, you want to graduate early? And I was like, yeah, let's do it in 2 years.
Yeah.
And I did it. So it's like, there's always a way around the way that other people do stuff. So I think this cash flow just kind of helps you get to that place where I'm like, man, like I don't need to go talk to a bank about getting a house. I'm like, I'll just call 5,000 people and 5 are going to call me back. And then like one of them is going to like maybe sell me their house.
Yeah.
It'll be on a lake, something like
For
that.
sure.
So, yeah.
Cool. So Airbnb was more so that business model just came across your table. It wasn't you out there looking for a way to get into short-term rentals? That's kind of how I understand.
It's kind of like, I've always wanted to be a landlord a little bit. Yeah. So, but the short-term thing just like, I love the guest communications. Like
Yeah.
I love getting like it's a freaking Ritz-Carlton when you show up at this
Yeah.
Midtown complex. I'm
bad.
like,
Yeah.
I know, but I'm like, but I love it. I'm like, I love these people, and like I want. It gives me some joy, and I do want to grow that in a way that it's not dependent on me to be there, because it's like if I'm sweating about something at like 11 p.m. and Haley's like, we're watching a movie,
Yeah.
like chill, get off of that damn phone, like.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a little much, but no, I love the short-term stuff. I'm shooting from the hip right now with this answer. It's all over the place.
Yeah.
Like I like building stuff, man.
Yeah.
Like I like building stuff, and I don't know if I like want to cash out at some point or like
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I want to fund I don't want to develop. I want to buy like foreclosures. Like I was telling y'all about that deal up in North Nashville.
Yeah.
Not going to work. I emailed the city councilwoman, and I think she's in a place that's not getting as much funding. So it
Yeah.
was not a quick reply.
For sure.
Still hasn't been. But like, it's, yeah, man, there's, I love that stuff. Like I love underwriting. I love finding deals. So I would love to get into syndication. I think that's
Yeah.
something that I'd like to do eventually.
Cool.
That's one of the many things. So this just gives us cash flow. Like
For sure.
yeah. And once we get to 10, like that's kind of that's the point where it's like, oh, like I don't have to be an agent. Like,
Yeah.
which I'm still new to this, but I don't really like, I just put like 400 miles on my car in the past
Yeah.
like 3 days. And I'm
Yeah.
like, that's not like, I have a bad disc in my back. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I can't be sitting like this in my car,
Yeah.
like 8 hours a
Yeah.
day. Like I love helping people like this. I love the relational aspect, but like, I don't think I want to be like in active sales like that long term. So, yeah, just want to educate my kids, homeschool them,
I
and
got
go
you.
by a lake or something.
Yeah.
Build
Everyone's
it.
reasons are different, so I'm always just
I
curious
just gave
on
you
what's
400, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
for sure.
Yeah. Oh man. But it's yeah, it kind of came out of nowhere. I think there was it was like Christmas time, and I was like depressed. Usually like November, like the sun starts going away, and then I'm like, oh, like Seattle, baby. Like there's no tan here. This is 25 years of tan, but like yeah, I was just like, I gotta figure something out. Like my wife is pregnant. I got like 3 sales over the past year with the realtor license, and that was great for the first year, but like 20 grand in commissions is not going to pay like a full year's worth of expenses. So it's
Right.
like,
Yeah.
you got to pick that up, man.
Yeah.
Like, get
It's a
busy
constant
and-
grind.
Yeah.
You know, you're only as good as your last sale, so you're just trying
Right?
to chase, man.
Yeah.
No, I get it.
Yeah.
And the lead gen, it's like, man, there are 7,200 realtors in Davidson County alone, and they're way hotter than me, and they've done way more deals than me. So
Yeah.
I'm like, that is not.
Yeah.
It's a hard market, but
Yeah.
For sure.
the Zillow leads, like a lot of the realtors that I know, they're like super against it, and they're just like old guard, like
Sure.
that doesn't work. And I was talking to like one of my mentors from my old brokerage, and he was like, let me know if this actually works, because like the leads that I bought were trash, and I'm like, no, dude, this is legit. So
Yeah.
but they don't like it because there was a big old lawsuit last year because.
I mean, but that goes back to anything. I mean, I countless videos that we've watched on people
Yeah.
just Airbnb arbitrage is the worst investment. Never get
Yeah,
into
right.
it. It's the
Watch this video
Yeah.
before you get into
you
the
have no
speculative
equity.
industry.
You know, it's
Yeah.
it's just everyone's got
yeah.
their opinion on it. I think
Yeah.
everything works.
Everything works.
You just got to
Yeah.
find a way to make it work.
The,
you know?
the best part about it is
Yeah.
most of those people that say that have never tried it.
I've never
you know?
tried it.
So,
But that's the
Yeah.
personal brand leverage thing. So it's like, oh, you're just like talking trash on this thing, and it's like, oh, you've amassed a following.
For sure.
You
Yeah.
go talk trash on this
100%.
thing and
Yeah,
amass a
100%.
following. Like
Yeah.
that's but that's YouTube is a crazy world, y'all.
It is.
It is, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
ton of free knowledge on there too, though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there is. Yeah, that was like the courses. Talk to me about the courses. Like, you don't have to name them, but I'm like, I interviewed like 4 of them, and they
Yeah.
were like 8
Yeah.
grand, 10 grand, 25 grand.
Gosh.
And Haley was like, "You're smoking crack if you agree to this. Like, that's
Yeah.
what is this?"
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, I mean, we just wanted funding. Like
Yeah.
that's how we first got into these courses. So we started shopping courses,
okay.
and we were like, because when we first pulled our 0% interest card, we got like $4 grand on our first pool, and we're like, that's not going to do
Yeah.
what we need to do for 2 units, especially getting down there, travel
Yeah.
and everything like that.
Yeah.
So we actually reached out to an unnamed course, and they sold us the dream on
Yes.
this connection to a funding guy.
Yeah.
So we had to pay a big fee just to get connected to the funding
like
guy.
$8,000 somewhere in there.
Somewhere in there. Yeah. But anyway, so we get that was just for the connection, and then we find out with the funding guy we have to pay him 10% to get us the funding that we need, and then that's when we were like, okay, so he's going to give us $100,000 line, and we're going to pay him $10,000 of the card. So it's like, in no world does that make sense.
Wait, his card? Is this like he's
so he's
signing
going
on
to
your
get us
loan?
funded, but he takes 10% of whatever.
Yeah, and the pitch is you don't
Loan
have to pay out of
origination
pocket. You don't have to
points.
pay out of pocket.
Okay,
So you can pay with the card that he gets you. Oh. Yeah. So it seemed as free money, but
You got to
it's
be
like,
that guy, guys.
Yeah, and so
Like,
we were
wrong.
like, we get the connection, we paid the connection fee, and then we're like, we're not paying 10% for this. There's just no way.
dang, so you were already in the hole with it? And
We
then
were
you got
in the
there
hole, and then we were like, we can't do this. Like it doesn't
Yeah.
like financially, it just doesn't make sense.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
many mistakes, man.
Yeah.
Many.
Yeah, man.
But
Yeah, but they've all led to something greater.
For sure.
And every mistake has led to a great win.
Yeah.
And I would say that 100 times over.
Yeah.
So
That's and so like with the videos that I've been making, there were a couple comments on each of them, and it's like I can tell it's like those are the inquisitive ones, you know? And I'm like, my encouragement is like, go get burned, like walk through the fire a little bit, like go, like I am leveraged up to my eyeballs right now, like but there's a vision, there's a goal in mind, like. There's 10 apartments full of furniture in 3 storage units that I've bought on payments because the business owner wanted to do seller financing because she was tired of it, you know? And I'm like, that's like, go find those connections. And like that Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich book, like I'm really on the fence about that one because it's like, man, you're like teaching obsession with money. And
Yeah.
For sure.
I don't know if I can get on board with that 100%, but like and it borders on the manifestation stuff, but I think it really is like, I'm trying not to get too hokey, but like if you really do see that stuff in your mind, like the end goal, and like your mind is such a powerful tool that God gave you, and it really does work in a way where like if you can envision this thing, like your brain is gonna figure out the way to get to that place. And like I don't think it's there's something to the vision board, but like it's like you're focusing on this thing, and it's like whenever a problem comes up, it's like that's more important. We're gonna get there.
For sure.
You got to go. It's like Dora, man. We're gonna go around it. We're gonna go over it. We're gonna go through it. Like we got to kill somebody for it. Like we must. But
and unfortunately, we live in a society where they teach the exact opposite of that. They say go find the safe room, close the door, don't go through the door that you don't know what's on the other side.
Yeah.
You know, and
that's my bone to pick with education,
for
the
sure.
antiquated system.
Yeah,
But yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
And like you said about getting burned, like it's good to get burned. Me and Michael have been burned countless
you all got
times.
a CrossFit, so that's like,
I mean,
y'all's muscles are burning out. Like I did it for 2 months, and like, but no, I mean, like, sorry, not to go too sidetracked on that, but it's like you're breaking your muscles down.
Yeah.
Like you have to build that way.
Yeah.
So it's inspiring, fellas.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
is great.
Also, I just want to leave on one last note.
Yeah.
I think accountability, me and Michael talk about it all the time, but I think accountability is the most powerful tool that you can possibly have.
Yeah.
Because I know with the things, I mean, we didn't even get into like a lot of the issues that we've gone through.
Yeah.
But I think without the accountability, if either one of us were by ourselves, we probably would have folded.
Yeah.
We've had some crazy things happen last year.
Yeah.
And we'll have to get into it another time. But it's like
Okay.
the power of accountability, the power of having people who are like-minded, that have a vision, that want to go somewhere and do something big.
Yeah.
There's nothing like it, you know, honestly. So
Yeah.
And that's people's hardest part is like, don't go into a partnership because then you got to split your profits, right? And that was me and Jack. We heard it all the time, but it's like we wouldn't even be to where we're at now if I did go in with Jack. And again, accountability. That's literally what it's done for us.
For sure.
And you got to have people. I mean, now you got us, so we can call you out if you're not on your stuff, man.
Yeah, y'all called me out on some crap too. I'm surprised you haven't called me out on this loan yet. You could do it.
Just
on
wait till
camera if
after
you
the
want.
podcast.
Right. Oh my gosh. Do we have how much time do we have?
20.
20? All right. You want to take like 5 minutes and tell me like the craziest thing that's happened, whether it's one of those trials or just like a meth addict like took over your unit for a month. Like,
well, I didn't think we
had
had the time. I guess we do have the time.
Yes, we do.
So,
Yeah.
You want to go into it or me?
You got it.
Yeah. So we crazy
Y'all
enough.
know exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So crazy enough, we get the 20K in debt. We're in the hole. We end up getting the Arizona deal.
Yeah.
Then a month later, we get the Indianapolis deal.
Okay.
So we're back on track. We're rolling. And then about a month and a half after that, we realized we're like, I don't even think we have our insurance policy set up for our Indianapolis house. And so we were like, okay, we got to get on that. So ASAP. First thing we do, call our proper rep.
Yeah.
We're getting everything set up.
Yeah.
The day this is where God comes in.
No.
The day we get the policy active,
Yeah.
we have a fire at our Indianapolis house.
Oh shoot.
The day the policy goes active,
Oh shoot.
it was $20,000 in damages, and insurance covered everything and gave us business revenue. If we didn't get that policy set up that day,
I mean,
our business is done because
Yeah.
we're already 20K in the hole.
Whoa.
So you put us out. So probably the craziest thing. And again,
Yeah.
I can't describe how God provided in that moment. The day before, I can show you on email after this. It doesn't make sense.
yeah, it's
doesn't
it's
make sense.
wild.
Like, that's fraud. Like,
Yeah.
what's going on
No,
here?
it doesn't make sense.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, started with a cigarette bud that someone, I guess, had smoked in our like little courtyard.
Oh.
And so that kind of helped us out too with the no smoking policy. But I guess he threw it out, went to bed, and then it smoldered up on.
Was it in the unit?
So it's a 4-bed, 4-bath house with like a middle courtyard in the middle.
Okay, I gotcha.
And above the courtyard is like one of the patios for one of the back rooms.
Yeah.
And I guess it smoldered up and destroyed wood, part of the roof. I mean, it was a lot of damage.
And that's more than 20,000 in damage. That's going to be like the seller or the owner is going to be like out for more damage.
For sure.
And me and Jack were like, dang, how can we delegate this to where we don't have to take that 6 a.m. call that the firefighters are at our Airbnb?
I woke up to like 5 calls from the Airbnb guests, and we don't get calls because at this time we have systems set up and everything. And I wake up to 5 calls at 6:30 in the morning. I pick it up, I answer. The guest told me the whole situation about the cigarette butt smoldering. The fire department had busted through the back door, put everything out, and luckily there was a neighbor walking the dog behind us. And she was the one that called the fire department.
Because everyone was sleeping.
God.
Yeah,
If that neighbor didn't call you, their house is probably burned down. And the best part about this is having the conversation with the landlord.
Yeah.
And picking up the phone.
How did that
and
go?
I mean, it was
honestly as good as it possibly could have.
for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a super chill guy.
Gracious
So it was,
soul.
I mean, he was
Yeah.
upset about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How could you not be? But
Yeah.
I mean, it taught us how to handle that kind of stuff. And I mean, I
Yeah.
think we handled it the best we could have.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was tough though.
Dang.
For sure.
God's good. A lot
Yeah.
of
Oh my
foresight from the
gosh.
Holy Spirit right there.
Absolutely.
The
Yeah.
day before.
And then just talking
Wow.
about how great Proper was, like they were on top of everything. They covered
That's
all
good.
of our business revenue. Luckily we had Taylor Swift the same month. It was on her tour. So our rates
Oh my gosh.
So our
you
rates
didn't even have to work for it.
Yeah. So our rates were up.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And
They
so
take average?
Yeah, because they take
Okay.
average. So our rates were up and you just give insurance the ADR for the last month.
Whoa.
And so when we gave them the ADR, it was a lot higher. So we got all of our business revenue recouped. It was just like, again, just a God thing. Like
Yeah.
the fact that we had Taylor Swift that month. And,
Yeah.
and
That's crazy.
Yeah. And while the fire damage was being resolved, luckily it didn't touch the main part of the house. So we were still able to keep those reservations.
Whoa.
So it was crazy.
That's
crazy.
nuts.
Another
So-
key piece on there, if something happens like that,
Yeah.
handle the insurance claim have insurance pay you out.
Yeah.
And then you handle the funds with whoever you subcontract to do the work.
Not
because
VAs,
someone's gonna
yeah.
No, it's not
Or-
even not VAs, but
Okay.
these contractors are gonna try and link up with the insurance companies and get the full amount and fix under that. And we ended up, I mean, how much did we make off?
I
just
mean, we
doing it
made
ourselves?
almost 10 grand just off of doing it ourselves.
Yeah.
And the contractor was constantly like hounding us, like, hey, just put
Yeah.
me in contact with the rep over at
Negative
insurance.
ghostwriter.
Yeah.
We're like, we're not
Dude,
doing that.
roofers do that
Yeah.
too,
Yeah,
man.
100%.
So we got our bid and it was literally a 10 grand gap because insurance pays us out and then we paid the contractor out instead of insurance paying directly to the contractor.
Whoa.
But we still had to provide the bid to insurance, but insurance had their adjuster, and what their adjuster came in and thought damages was higher than what the bid we got was, if that makes sense.
That is very wise.
So it was, So,
okay.
Yeah, someone actually shared that information with me, and I just took it and ran with it.
Dude,
so
that's wisdom right there.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's
because otherwise,
reel right there.
contractors would have made an extra 10 grand profit on that, based on what the adjuster gave.
Yeah.
And we don't want them taking that 10 grand. Like that should be like, it's our insurance.
They're always going to
for
spread it as much as possible. Yeah.
So,
dang.
Yeah, crazy.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Just something to keep in mind for if anything ever happens. I mean,
something will happen at some point.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it always does.
Yeah, it's Murphy's
Just be
Law.
ready for it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, Proper's been great though. That was one phone call that was like very, very smooth.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like I was getting sold on anything.
Yeah,
For
they're
sure.
solid.
But I was a warm lead. So
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
oh man. Well, fellas, I think we probably have 10 minutes left, but what do you think? You got anything else you want to share? Anything else has been burning on your minds?
Man, I feel like we talked about it all from the start. I mean,
You're gonna wake up at 3 a.m. and realize that you didn't.
100%.
Yeah.
we'll have to schedule a few of these.
Yeah,
to get it all.
Definitely got to do it again.
Yeah.
So
this is great.
there's new stuff coming always for both of us.
Yeah.
So.
For sure. I'm gonna try to document the next 4 because I'll keep y'all in the loop on this. We'll need to do some Zoom calls because I really want to get that like on the vlog style type of thing. So, yeah.
I think we're gonna film too our whole setup in
Nice.
Nashville as well, and
Heck
just
yeah.
try and build some content around it. But man, I think if we do these regularly, just keeping up with each other's growth on it, it's just a good way to hold each other accountable.
Absolutely.
Can't come on the podcast and tell us you're in the same spot you were 3 months ago.
Yeah, that's true. With all 600 people that are following. That's a lot more than I had last year.
You got to start somewhere, man.
Yeah, that's true, man. Y'all, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
This was great.
Man, it's been awesome.
It's been great. And it's still going to be awesome. So I'm looking forward to where we're going. So,
Absolutely.
Appreciate you, bro.
all right. Well, I guess we're going to sign off. Taylor, thank you so much for having us into this amazing studio. We really enjoyed it. This is Garden Groove over in East Nashville. Again, this is Jack Sisson, Michael Borton, City Vista Properties. We are Airbnb rental arbitrage people. So keep in the loop with us. Socials, you want to share that?
Yeah, Instagram Michael Borton. Post some stuff about what's going on with our Airbnbs every once in a while, and just try to stay in the loop there.
Yep. Instagram Jack Sisson, trying to be more active.
There you go. Yeah, man. Instagram Joseph C. Scully. Joseph Scully. So
Nice.
that's it. Yeah, you'll see no focus whatsoever.
All over the place.
Some stuff. All righty. I guess that's the sign off.
Cool, man.
Awesome. Appreciate you.
Absolutely. Likewise.